Today I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 things that I did to earn $91,344 in a single month after entering the workforce at a measly $8 per hour. And more importantly, how you can take what I'm talking about here today to get yourself on track to earn over $10,000 a month or even more as quickly as possible. I remember when I was working for an hourly wage and I felt so damn annoyed almost all the time because no matter how hard I worked or how many hours I worked, I was limited to the amount of money that I was being paid. And to make it worse, the people that I worked with were constantly dicking around all day long, and they made the exact same amount as me, even though I was totally busting my ass. So when I was really young, I wanted to learn how I could make more money and be in a position to control what I earned. So if you don't want to be trapped earning less money than you know you're capable of, stuck working harder and longer hours for the same amount of money like I was, all while watching other people make more money around the world, potentially more money in a single month than you make all year, then please pay attention to this video because I'm going to be giving you guys some game. If you apply these 3 things, you're absolutely going to be able to maximize your earning potential and transform the amount of money that you make every single month. So I quickly want to talk about how my journey unfolded just to give you guys some context. Around the age of 15, I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, listening to programs by Tony Robbins, and overall racking my brain on how I could figure out how to make this happen. Over time, I figured out a handful of things that really made a difference and changed the game for me entirely. Not only did these things put me in a position to earn more money than I ever had before, but they led me to the most amount of money that I've ever made in the calendar month, which is $91,344. Now, with time, I plan to beat that, but for the sake of today, we're going to talk about how I pulled that off. By the way, hello family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Chris. I made $1 million in business by the time I was 25, and now I'm sharing the lessons that I'm learning on my path to earning $1 million per year doing what I love. On this channel, I share simple, proven strategies around mindset, productivity, manifestation, and business that have helped me and hundreds of other people win. So if you're ready to get out of your own way and start winning at the level that you know you're capable of, be sure to subscribe and stick around. Okay, I'm curious. Have you ever wondered why some people make more money in a month than other people make in a year, or even in crazy cases in their entire lifetime? Some people are stuck working hourly jobs or salary jobs that don't pay more no matter how hard they work, while other people are making $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, or even $1 million a month. One person grinds year after year at the same income level, while another person seemingly 10x's their income in a very short period of time. And those very same people who are stuck earning less, they feel stuck or trapped by their circumstances, while other people seem to be able to just bypass their circumstances and create the life that they want through their ability to earn more money. Now, what I want to point to is that these are not random differences. These are specific principles at work that separate high earners from low earners. So let me ask you, are you currently trading your time for money with no way to increase the amount of money that you earn? Do you feel like you're working hard, but you're not really seeing the income that you want in your life? And like me in the past, are you wondering, how are some people able to make so much freaking money? So if any of those questions resonated, you might be missing one of these 3 things that I'm going to be breaking down for you today. The difference between people who are making $3,000 a month to the people who are making $300,000 per month comes down to understanding this. It does not matter how hard you row. What matters most is what boat you're in. Warren Buffett said this, and I heard this when I was 15 years old, and it completely changed my perspective. So much of our ability to earn great money comes from the vehicle or the opportunity that we choose to make money in. Listen, you can work hard as fuck, but I promise you, you're not going to make $100,000 in a month at your local McDonald's. You aren't going to earn it working for an hourly wage or probably a salary unless you're like a CEO or some shit. And honestly, neither was I. So the first step is choose the right vehicle. So for the sake of this, I'm going to just draw one of my famous cars. I know they're the best cars you've ever seen drawn in your life. There's your little car. So you want to choose the right vehicle. This really is the foundation for everything else. If you get this wrong, not a whole lot matters. You can be the hardest worker in the room, but if you're in the wrong vehicle, you'll stay broke. I come from a family of blue-collar workers working in construction. They're the hardest workers I know. They didn't make that much money. So think about it. If you have a go-kart engine, but it's in a Ferrari, you're not going to be able to drive that Ferrari as fast as you want to. It's still going to be limited by the go-kart engine. And Just like that, your earning potential is going to be limited by the vehicle that you choose, or the engine, if that makes sense. So early on, I learned the importance of finding the right vehicle, something where my earning potential wasn't limited by the hour or how hard I worked. So I've got a few ideas for you of some vehicles that you might shop for that are going to help you to actually create wealth. The first one is sales. So this could be selling cars, selling real estate like I did in the past, insurance, consulting, e-commerce. Either way, sales is the number one skill that pays the bills. When you master sales, your income is not going to be capped by hours. Then the second vehicle, looking at marketing. So with marketing, you could learn how to build websites, you could learn how to run ads, create content, do design, or any other options within marketing that allow you to freelance or plug into a company and determine your own income. But the fun part is that marketing is still heavily reliant on sales or understanding sales. So it's really, in my opinion, the best skill to learn first is sales. And then the third one is leadership. One of the highest paid roles is that of the leader. Whether it's starting your own company or working for another, leaders get paid for results, not hours. That's why CEOs have salaries of like $2,500 an hour or something crazy. My crazy ass is deciding to master all three of these, knowing that the better I get at each of these skills, it literally is going to allow me to print money on demand. So your action steps are going to be identify which of these vehicles aligns with your strengths and interests. And then you want to get obsessed with mastering the skills and career within that vehicle. So I started off in sales. Now I'm learning a lot about marketing, and I've also dove into a lot about leadership. So what you can do is once you identify and start going deep in those, you can start transitioning away from hourly based work towards what I call results based income. That's going to change your life. And then secondly, you need to build the right habits. So to illustrate habits, I'm just going to draw some stairs. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're kind of stacking these habits on each other. Here's a quote that changed my life and that really explains what I'm trying to say here. First, man makes habits, and then habits make man. In order to make $91,344 in a single month, I had to build specific habits, and they aren't what you're probably thinking. These habits aren't your typical make your bed or wake up at 5 a.m. type habits. They are habitual ways of being and doing. So the first habit is something called CCIA. It's conscious, committed, imperfect action. This is the ability to keep showing up and trying even when things aren't going your way or they sure as shit aren't perfect. So for me, I wouldn't give up. I just kept taking action even if it wasn't perfect or pretty. And I still, in this day, have the tendency to become obsessed with things and continue to work at them until I figure them out, as you're seeing me do here with these videos. Most people, though, they wait till they have it figured out, or they tell themselves they need to wait till they have it figured out to start taking action. But true high income earners take action while they're still learning. The second habit is something called the student's mind. And for me, this is all about realizing that I'm never too smart to learn more. I always stay curious and I look for clues as to what works in whatever I'm doing. And then once I find it, I model after it. My favorite analogy is if you were going to bake a cake, would you go into the kitchen and just start grabbing random ingredients and tools and trying to throw shit together? Probably not. You'd hop on Google, you'd look up cake recipes, you'd identify what tools and ingredients you need, and then you do your best to spend some time in the kitchen to bake the cake. Business, life, making money, all these things are no different. You may not be a baker, but I promise you, if you can identify the recipe and spend some time in the kitchen, you're going to bake a pretty damn good cake, and pretty soon people are going to start calling you a baker. And so for me, I was never too good to learn from anyone. And that allowed me to shortcut my success. Constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly applying what I'm learning. That's so important. So when I got into real estate, I surrounded myself with the right people and I soaked up everything I could about them. And within 1 year, I was in the top 20% of agents in my area. And in that industry, most people don't even make it past 2 years. So that should tell you this shit works. This taught me that if you're always learning and taking action, sooner or later, you're going to figure out whatever it is that you're working towards and then you're going to win. So for you, identify the vehicle, take conscious, committed, imperfect action every single day, take conscious, committed, imperfect action every single day, and then stay curious and model what successful people are doing in your field as often as possible. Never stop learning, and most importantly, never stop applying what you learn. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, you can join 1,400 other readers of my newsletter every single week in the description. And I currently have 5 one-on-one spots available. So if you're looking to break through your income ceiling, I can help you do that. You can check out information down below. And then the third thing is to cultivate the right mindset. And I'd say this is arguably the most important, right? Don't get me wrong, you have to show up. But even if you have the right vehicle, even if you take imperfect action, even if you try to learn from people, but you have a shitty mindset, you're never going to make it. So you need to have, I'm going to draw a cloud to represent the mind. You need to have a great mindset. What's one thing that all very successful people do? They think big as hell. They are not small thinkers. They are the crazies, the ones that see visions others laugh at, that think thoughts that are so big and then go after those same thoughts and visions with passion. David J. Schwartz said, "Believe big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Think little goals, expect little achievements." So for me, this really was the secret, if that's what you want to call it. I would have never have made the career changes or built the habits necessary if I didn't think big in the first place. I wouldn't have thought it was possible to earn $91,000 in a month when 3 years prior I earned $82,000 in a fucking year. I wouldn't have taken the actions, developed the skills, practiced the habits, or even begun in the first place had I not been one of those crazy people. One of the people who doesn't settle for normal, who thinks bigger, who's a dreamer. And I want to share with you an incredibly powerful story a mentor shared with me that I think you're really going to love. And it's actually a poem by Jesse B. Rittenhouse. And he said, "I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. Life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid." Think about that. Life will give you what you ask for, and it all starts in your thinking. Most people negotiate with life from a place of scarcity or fear. They ask for just enough to get by. Oh, if I could just pay my bills, or if I could just be comfortable, or whatever that even means. They think small because they're afraid of being disappointed, or because the people around them never showed them that they could think bigger and therefore be, do, and have more. But here's what I discovered. Life doesn't give a shit if you ask for $3,000 a month or $91,000 in a month. The amount of effort is often the same. That's why you hear really rich people say, "Oh, it takes just as much effort to make $1 million as it does to make 10,000. Now, I'll let you know when I get there, but the difference comes down to what you believe you deserve and what you're willing to ask for, which again comes back to your ability to think big. And I would say, ultimately, the right mindset is one of abundance and thinking big, because there is an infinite amount of abundance all around us. There is plenty to go around. There's enough money on this earth for every single family or even probably person to be a millionaire. So just real quick, if you want to learn more about reprogramming your subconscious mind from one of scarcity to one of abundance, I'm going to recommend a video at the end of this video you can check out. So to wrap this up, action steps for cultivating the right mindset. Set income goals that excite you and scare you, ones that people around you would not understand. Think big. Second, visualize yourself already earning at that level, already becoming the person who earns that amount of money, showing up each day, living the lifestyle, whatever. And then the last thing is take actions that align with your bigger vision, not your current reality. Stay focused on what you already have, you're going to get more of the same. Stay focused on what's out ahead of you, that's what you're going to get. And lastly, surround yourself with people who think bigger than you do and achieve more than you do. Like my story earlier about the coworker who made $80,000 in a month, that set me up to make $90,000 in a month later. And then here's what happens when you combine all three of these. Choosing the right vehicle, building the right habits, cultivating the right mindset. Choosing the right vehicle sets you up for damn near unlimited earning potential. Choosing the right habits ensures that you consistently take the right actions and show up in the right way to succeed. And the right mindset keeps you thinking and acting at a higher level than what you currently have, and therefore you're going to get more. When I started applying all three of these things together, everything in my life changed. I went from being frustrated at my hourly wage to creating my first $91,000 month, and I promise you, using what I'm teaching here today, I will get to $100,000 or more per month consistently And when I do, I'll let you know. Here's the thing. It wasn't because of luck in the past. It won't be because of luck in the future. It's not a fluke, and it's definitely not because I'm just some special, lucky person. It's because I understand and I apply these 3 fundamental principles every single day, day in and day out. The beautiful thing for you is that these principles do apply to you. Whether you're at 3,000 and you want to go to 10,000 a month, whether you're at 30,000 and you want to go to $300,000 a month, whether you're at 300,000 and you want to go to 3 million a month, same shit applies. Think big, build the right habits, choose the right vehicle. Remember, you can work as hard as you want, but if you don't have the right vehicle, the right habits, and the right mindset, it doesn't matter. You're going to stay stuck at the current level that you're at. So as a quick bonus, I want to recommend a few books that have really helped me to think bigger, especially in terms of money. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a great book about habits and mindset, Atomic Habits by James Clear, and a book on money mindset as a whole, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Okay, my friend, be sure to comment down below your takeaways. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video. By the way, I'm going to throw up another video on the screen that I think you'll love, all about improving your money mindset, getting over your struggles with money. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or you want to be a reader of my newsletter, feel free to check those out in the description. Much love, my friend. I will see you in the next one.